You know, it's interesting in the world of television, and in particular when they say there's no egos. There really is, and I for one have worked with so many egos during my career, but as many who watch this show know, I've got a terrible fit of giggles, and I don't necessarily take everything that seriously, you know. And it's interesting when you think about it, because when you're looking at people, particularly alleged journalists who get these big scoops, these big interviews, they can't wave about, you know, can't wait, sorry, to wave about and say, oh, you know, it's not about me, it's about the journalism, it's about the interview, all the while of course making sure they give endless interviews about the interview. Remember that one with Emily Maitlis and Prince Andrew? Gosh, she jumped on that media bandwagon so quickly, didn't she? But how quickly we forgot her. That's exactly what happens, you see. Without anything to back it up, it becomes problematic. Now, what's interesting here is, as we know, only a couple of days ago now, the trailers arrived for the brand new media push for Prince Harry and his forthcoming book, Spare. And of course, you know, when you look at these interviews, as we pointed out previously, you know, they're not asking anything new. Nobody dare ask anything. All the questions are in advance. Every single camera angle is placed. You know, they know exactly where the lighting is going to be, the reaction, all of that sort of stuff. He will have been rehearsed thoroughly, you know, incredibly when you think about it. There simply can be no room for error. You know, this is a big thing he's trying to sell. But what I find fascinating, as I say, is the egos behind that. Now, when you think about it, over in America, he's decided to plump for Anderson Cooper, not very well known at all over here. When you look at his background, of course, incredibly well connected. And when you think about that, given that he's only managed to land on CNN with all of those connections, doesn't necessarily say much about his journalistic skill. And I'm not being unkind here. I mean, you would have thought he'd have been on a great big breakfast show, or been, you know, something of a doyen of broadcasting, like, say, the late Barbara Walters was. Seemingly not happened. Over here we have someone called Tom Bradby, who basically reads the 10 o'clock news on the commercial channel ITV. Tom really has been very clever, very well connected. He did, of course, the engagement interview with the then Prince William and Catherine, and seemingly the same thing, became very good friends with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, breaking out that story from Africa, as we now all know. And then, of course, he fell foul of Prince William and Catherine, and they ceased to become friends, or remain friends, should I say. Tom himself, though, is no stranger to mega publicity. On the sideline, he writes thrillers. I'm not sure if they're any good, never read them, haven't got the time. But what's interesting is, in order to try and get some publicity, he decided to reveal that he'd been suffering from insomnia for months and had to take months off work while he battled this condition. If only we could all do the same, you know what I'm saying. But it's interesting now because it looks like diva wars have taken place between these two presenters. And this is all because you couldn't make this stuff up, and as ever we have to say allegedly, this is all because of the timing of the trailers. You see, yesterday over here in the United Kingdom, the CBS trailer for Anderson Cooper came out first. Right, and then that was very swiftly followed within an hour, maybe less, for the ITV chat, which is going to be shown at 9 p.m. over here UK time. Nothing wrong with that, but two of the same, really, you know, and they really shouldn't have collided. It did look sort of bad form. However, according to insiders over at ITV, Tom was less than pleased, oh yes, because it had been agreed that he would have the UK launch first, and there will be a substantial amount of time between that and the CBS launch. I know, does anyone care? You know, it just goes to show, doesn't it? Oh, it's not about me. Guess what? It's all about you. What I find fascinating here is that now, while this is rumbling on in the background, as one can assume, this is going to get bigger and bigger because, of course, ratings will be matched. America, no doubt, will do better than the United Kingdom simply because there's more people. But as a lot of people are now being saying over here, looking at the trailers, this is normally the thing that you put out and go, wow, you know, this is going to make me want to watch it. Truly, is there anything in there that you think, yeah, I definitely want to watch that? Now, as we're having a few more drips and drabs being leaked over the next couple of days ahead of that big interview this coming weekend, again, expect more Star Wars between the alleged journalists on both sides of the pond, who obviously claim it's never truly about them, only about the story. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.